Hey everybody, if you know me, I like to shoot the breeze when I'm doing these. Check the description below. I will have the timestamps in there. That way if you don't want to hear me, you don't have to. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to play a USA Jakey Lee Charvel and a Charvel Pro Mod Jakey Lee. This is the made in Mexico one, and this one here is the USA made one. There's a drastic price difference between the two. What I want to do first, instead of talking, I'm just going to play. We have a Badlander 100. You can see the settings here, and I'll bring you in for it. I now have a Strymon Flint turned on for a little bit of reverb, and I'm just going to play some riffs on the USA. Then I'm going to switch to the Pro Mod and play them. The strings are relatively the same age. They're within a day of each other. We have a Shure SM57, a little off-axis, into or pointed at a Mesa Vertical 212, and like I said, the Badlander 100. I'm just going to play around, and then once I finish playing with the guitars, I'll go into my discussion with them, the similarities, the differences, and all that good BS. Going to switch guitars here and then hopefully remember what I played with this one. I don't think I will. So mistakes and all, that's what we have here. A little bit of the neck pickup and a little bit of the bridge pickup. High gain channel on the Badlander here. So now I'm going to talk about the similarities and the differences. If all you want to hear is audio of a guitar, there won't be any more, so you can go ahead and close the video out now. But if you care about the specs and maybe a little bit of the history. So Jake's first Charvel actually isn't a Charvel. It is more like this guy that I have here. I'm going to flip this over for you. I'm going to cover that up because we have a kind of half-naked lady on there. So we have a 3-bolt fender plate here. Got a little skunky stripe, some old nitro on this. And we have some finish checking and all that here. This isn't a Charvel, though. This says Charvel. Doesn't say made in the USA. And if you take this apart, if you look in the neck pocket on the neck, you'll see what it actually is. And if you look in the body, you'll see what it is. So this is a replica Charvel. And it's from my personal collection. It's not for sale. Don't worry. Nobody's going to get duped or anything, but going to cover her up. Reason I'm doing that is I don't want to get flagged on YouTube for this. But you can see here it's an ash body. And looking at the neck in some light, it kind of has a flame to it. It's pretty cool. I didn't play this one because it has different pickups, and it has a Fralin here. And I don't know, it's an E standard. This is what I learned, things that are in E on. I didn't want to throw that in there, then kind of, I guess, noise pollution for our ear. But Jake's first Charvel was actually a Fender Strat. It had a big headstock, much like... So if you're not familiar, there's a big headstock and there's a standard Fender size headstock. This is an Yngwie Malmsteen Strat back here that I'm putting back. Fun fact, Jake doesn't like Yngwie. So it started out like that, and Jake had worked at a music store. This is the story that Jake told, so I'm retelling a story that you can readily go find from his mouth. But Jake went and told his parents, hey, I have a job. I work at a music store now. And he was like, oh, that's great. Well, the music store wasn't paying him in money. But once he worked there for a while, they decided, all right, well, you can have a guitar. And the way he tells it, he wanted a guitar with a whammy bar. So if you're familiar, the old Fulcrum-style Fender bridge is actually much like what's on that Strat behind me, the one I just put away. Excuse me. So Jake plays them, and he says the one that had a hardtail sounded the best. And, you know, he would go on to do his neck bends and all that good stuff. And I'm guilty of bending the neck on guitars, on set neck guitars too. I'm irresponsible and I make bad decisions. That's all that comes down to. So Jake gets this guitar. It's a Sunburst Strat with a hardtail. And he's living with a dude, and the dude's a painter at the Charvel paint booth. He cuts the headstock and he paints it white with a lavender hue. Now, if you look at my more close to Jake's original, this doesn't have any lavender hue. It's just like an aged white. So Jake's playing that. It says Charvel, but it's not. It's a Fender. 3-bolt neck, like I showed you here. So he gets the gig with Ozzy. Talk about a career. I mean, dude's with Rat. Then he goes to Ozzy. He admits it. He got to go to the big time pretty quickly. So he gets his guitar. It's 21 fret Strat. I mean, that's why I had 21 frets. You look back then. He's with Ozzy, and he had been playing a Charvel Alan Holdsworth model, and I'd really like to get my hands on the one that he played. And there's also another one that he was playing. It was a single humbucker with a Fulcrum-style trem. You can see it on a really great video where he's playing Over the Mountain. And anyway, back to the guitar. So he's playing these Charvels. He's going to get a signature model. Well, his signature model, his custom one was a Blueburst. Everyone had these graphics and all that, as he says it, and he wanted something different. So he got a Blueburst guitar. It's actually a wonderful guitar. I've done videos on that, and I will do an updated one where you can hear it with a recorded microphone on the cabinet. So he has that. He gets Whitey, as he calls it. Whitey just keeps getting abused on the road. A new Whitey's made, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You fast forward a number of years, and Jake gets really screwed over by Sharon Osbourne. Even Ozzy finally admits it, that Jake got a raw deal. And you have Sharon to thank for Zakk Wylde doing what he's doing now. I mean, if you think about it, because Zakk was exactly what Ozzy needed when he needed him. Well, Jake goes and he forms Badlands. During that time frame, Jake had an ESP signature and back to a Charvel signature. Well, Charvel used to, years ago, in the custom shop, make Jake E. Lee guitars if you custom ordered one. If you get online, you can see various forums where there are individuals that own custom shop Charvels that were made in the Jake E. Lee style. Some have 22 frets. I've seen a Purple Burst that's phenomenal. It's better looking. Well, obviously it's better looking. My Purple Burst is a replica, whereas the one that I'm referencing is the real deal from the custom shop. So this goes on. People, hey, Charvel, make a Jake E. Lee signature. Here we are. So this brings us to the USA. The USA is a swamp ash body, string through body hardtail, single volume, 5-way selector, cat's eye input, basically a hot rodded Strat. The modern ones have a swimming pool route. I never got to see inside of one of the ones Jake owned. I'm assuming that it's not, just because that would be my guess. The fretboard on this is rosewood, maple neck, the skunk stripe in the back, Strat headstock, go-to tuners with the perloid buttons, and a matching painted headstock. The fret wire is a medium jumbo, they call it, but I don't think it's jumbo at all. It's tall and thin to me. 12 to 16-inch compound radius fingerboard and a bone nut. 4-bolt instead of 3-bolt like the Fender. And it's kind of funny, though, when you say like the Fender, because Fender's who makes these now. The fans went on and said, hey, this is a lot of money to pay for a guitar. Well, a signature guitar, you have to pay the artist royalties and all that bullshit. So over years, and I mean, we're talking as long as I can remember, this one here is a 2020. I have a 2017 USA also. So at least that long, and I know longer, the fans have requested that Charvel make a more affordable version. Now, I don't know what your definition of affordable is, but mine's a little bit different. I know I paid too much for this guitar, and I paid too much because I'm a huge Jakey Lee fan. I wouldn't normally buy a Pro Mod Charvel. I'm not being pretentious when I say this. I'm 40 years old. I've been playing for, oh my God, 27 years. I've been playing long enough, and I've been working hard enough that I'm more than likely not going to go in looking for a Pro Mod. I have what I like, and I'm really not in the market to go buying things. But they say, hey, they're going to make a Jake. All right, well, I'm an idiot. I'll buy one. So I buy the Pro Mod Jake. Now, the Pro Mod Jake, it's the same as this. It's a string-through body hardtail, 21 fret rosewood fingerboard, maple neck, pearloid button tuners. Now, these tuners are Charvel labeled. I'm assuming they're probably Ping or something like that. But if you look at the headstock on this, it's not painted, so it doesn't match. Obviously, it doesn't say made in the USA. It doesn't even say made in Mexico. It says that on the neck plate. There's no skunk stripe on the neck. So if you go to Charvel's website, they specify that this one is quarter sawn maple, and they don't specify that for this, but they do say that this has graphite rods. I'm thinking the graphite would probably make up for the difference. And as I've done in the other videos, I'll bring this a little closer so you can see, but the grain is different on the neck. So the grain's different, and the string tree is different. Where on this, it's like an old Fender style T-bar, and then this has like the circle with the detents in it. The other differences are that the bridge is made out of a different material, and the body's alder instead of ash, like on the USA. It's the same electronics, but another difference is the spacing of the middle and the neck pickup. If you take a look at that, I'm hoping you can see that pretty well. I'll come in a little closer. The Pro Mod more closely resembles the Blue Burst USA Charvel in the pickup spacing department. The electronics, again, they're the same. You're getting a real JB. You're getting real SDS1s. Real 21 fret rosewood board, same dot inlays. I don't like that they moved the adjustment to the heel. I understand why. It's a machining thing. This neck could go on any of their Charvels that has jumbo frets with a regular nut, with a non-locking nut. So this neck here is the same as any Pro Mod neck, I'm assuming, that doesn't have a locking nut. And that's kind of, sucky because I don't have a USA Charvel aside from a Jake that feels like this. I have two of them. They have the same frets. The other Charvels you've seen in the videos, they certainly don't. They have jumbos. And honestly, what's weird is this neck semi-resembles, I have the USA SoCal Snowblind, so the white one with the black pickguard that I've shown in the videos, and then the black one. They call that the pitch black. And that neck feels very similar to this. So the shaping and everything's great. Don't take anything I'm saying as bitching about a Mexican guitar. I'm not. But I know I paid too much for it. I paid $1,300, and I had to replace the nut as soon as I bought it. The one that came, you can look at the video, is trash. It's like they weren't even trying to cut the damn thing. And there are Charvels on the Mexican line that have more features for less money. So more features, less money, and are more difficult to manufacture. This is a swimming pool routed alder body painted a metallic white. This is not the most difficult thing that Charvel makes. It's a string through hardtail. This goes into a machine, or the block of wood goes into a machine. Brrr, out comes a guitar body. Some guy takes a stick, or however they paint theirs. There you go. Next. I mean, these are coming out assembly line style. The Difference though in the fret job, this has like an extra jumbo, really nice. And of all of the complaints that I have about the guitar, if you look at the other video, I bitched about everything that could be wrong. The first one I got, springs fell out of the bridge here, which that's no big deal, but it's an irritating, that it would leave the factory that way. The string tree wasn't right. The finish by the string tree was cracked. And when they ship these, it's almost like they take the gamble that just putting it in like one of those bags that a computer part comes in, then throwing that in a cardboard box and sending it to you is enough. That's how both mine came. Brand new from Charvel to the distributor, then the distributor to me. And I don't know. I certainly wouldn't ship you a guitar that way. And I would hope you wouldn't ship me one that way, but both mine got here that way. So it's not that difficult to make this. All the complaining, I am glad that the fretwork is as good as it is. It's very good. One of the ways you can check, I don't know if I'll be able to get into my toolbox here. I don't have a pencil up at the front of the drawer here, and I'm bashing into the head here. Or am I? I don't know. What am I hitting? Ha, we moved it. We don't care. So you can take any piece of wood and you go along the frets, and that noise you hear, that's me rubbing the actual pencil on the fret. But if you go beside it, now if I look at that board, if they were sharp, there'd be wood chips all over there, and there's not. So the frets are beautifully done on this. So if you have to pick, have a bad nut and awesome frets, or an awesome nut and bad frets, you pick good frets every time. Dressing and completing these is certainly not outside my capability, but I'd rather cut a nut than refret a guitar or do a level crown and polish on a brand new guitar. So anyway, back to talking. If you wanted a Jake guitar, I think you would probably... I'm so mixed on this because I'm a Charvel player and I really like their stuff, but I'm still irritated I spent as much as I did. So here's my advice. If you don't want to go the parts caster route and you don't want to buy the USA, buy a used Pro Mod. That's my advice. And the reason that's my advice is I was on Reverb before I made this video, and I see them for $900. If you go and you look at any newer Strat, one of the Player Series, they're $1,000, $900. I'm dating myself here, but I remember the days you could go buy USA Strats all day, every single day for $500 used. And those days are long gone. We're at the new era of confidence with our new level. How's that Pantera song go? Anyway, so the guitars have a lot in common, and they're a lot different. So is this a Jake E. Lee guitar? Kinda. It has the same slant of the pickups. You could take any of your Strats and reverse slant the pickups. Hell, my plan for my white Snowblind is to actually buy a reverse slant pickguard for it. Now I'll have to route that inside out because this is swimming pool routed. The Snowblind USA SoCals, as they're called, it's humbucker, single humbucker routing. So I would need to route the middle out a bit. I plan on doing that to it. So I'll have a Jake E. Lee with a Floyd Rose on it. Is that a Jake? No, why would it be? I could put Perloid buttons on it, but that still doesn't make it a Jake. If you're a fan, do it. If you have to have a brand new, you can't build it yourself, you can't part it together yourself, it has to say Charvel, and it has to be legit, go buy the Charvel version. If you don't want to spend what the USA one does, what the USA one costs, don't. I bought one of mine new, and it was sort of a present to me from me. I'd saved up for it. I wanted it, and I got it. My other ones I bought used. The blue one I believe is new also. I'll have to look at my receipt on that one, so don't hold me to that. I did buy this new, and I would definitely buy, if they made it, I can't believe I'm saying this, I would buy a Purple Burst or a Blue Burst Pro Mod. That's how dumb I am. I hope you enjoyed some of the history here. The part that I missed is from Badlands, when he had the ESP and the Charvels, he ended up going back to Charvel when before, but he started a band, Red Dragon Cartel. He plays the Charvels in there. Now his current one is different than both of these, and it's different than the Blueburst. It's a 22 fret. It has a tone control, either a walnut or a mahogany neck. It's a mahogany neck, I remember from the interview, and I think an ebony board. And if you've ever looked at some of his guitars, you know, they get kind of like scummy and shit around the pickups. I kind of like his attitude of just like playing, and then the whole Jake idea that he just doesn't give a shit, you know, or maybe he does, but he's in the position he's in where he just has to seem like he doesn't give a shit about what's going on. I don't know. But the last thing I'll do for this video is I'm going to bring these guitars close to you. It's great. I found a paint defect that I can complain about. That's what I'm rubbing my thumb on, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll bring them to you. I'll move them in the light so you can see the color and just spin them around, and that's it. I'm going to call this done. So I appreciate you putting up with me and story time and all that, and we'll see you with the next one. I am going to get that damn Boss DS1 done really nicely. So here we go. Smashing your guitars off of things as you make videos makes them better.